guys, this is Serah and welcome back to Serah Reads, and I hope everyone watching this video right now are doing well and good. So today I'm back with a video of talking about all the books that I've read in the month of January 2026, and surprisingly I have read 11 books this month. Yes, you heard me right, 11 books, and let's talk about each single one of them. The first book that I've read this month is The Life She Carried by Aarti Narayan, and this is a heart-wrenching story which revolves around the central character called Lakshmi from her marriage at the age of 14 to the day she dies, spanning a journey from the small village of Kerala to the streets of Mumbai. She was told to be a patient wife, but she chose to be a brave mother. Lakshmi was married to Ramalingam, a man that she barely knew at the age of 14 in 1924. At the age of 15, she became a mother, and the next 22 years, she have mothered 9 children. Was her husband a perfect gentleman? Then why did he let all the children to go to her to raise single-handedly? Why did he never take care of his daughter's education? Why did he see his daughters as a burden to get married? And this story might seem very familiar to you because we all are granddaughters of Lakshmis who were oppressed, who were married young, who were denied education, who were asked to be polite, who were asked to obey their husbands, who were not treated more than a maid or a cook in the family. But here in this book, Lakshmi rises for her children. She refused to obey the societal norms of how a woman should be. This fictional novel is written in the inspiration of the author's own grandmother. This is a soulful book, a worthy one-sitting book that will actually wreck and wrench your heart. A one-sitting book that will leave you with a great satisfaction. And my rating for this book is 5 out of 5. The next book that I've read this year was The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I gifted this book for myself for my 17th birthday, and now I'm 18, and it took me more than a year to complete, but still it was kind of worth it. So The Secret History follows a group of an elite, eccentric students studying classics at Vermont College, and from the very first page, you know that someone is going to be killed by the rest. This story is told from the perspective of Richard, an outsider who is drawn into this tight-knit group which is led by a charismatic, manipulative professor. As the students become obsessed with Greek philosophy, beauty, and the idea of a life beyond the normal moral rules, their intellectual curiosity becomes dangerous. What starts as an academic fascination turns into a secrecy, guilt, violence, blurring the line between right and wrong. This novel is not about who committed the crime, it's about why. How privilege, how obsession, how self-delusion can corrupt someone completely. One thing, this is not an ideal book for beginners. First, this is called as like a future classic or something. So definitely the language is kind of hard, it's thick, and also it has a lot of mentions of Greek philosophy, Greek words. So it will be harder for you guys. So just don't read it now. You can read it in the future. And my rating for this book is just 4 out of 5. And if you ask me why I haven't given it 5 out of 5, I would say that the entire plot was just awesome. I absolutely loved it. I really enjoyed it. It was gripping, it was thrilling, everything. But the climax ruined it for me. I am not agreeing with the climax. I mean, the way the author have written the climax, I expected a better climax, but therefore I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. So the third book that I've read this year was Kafka on the Shore by my favorite Haruki Murakami. This book also I gifted for myself on my 17th birthday, and now I'm 18. It took me more than a year to complete the entire book, but still I have completed it. So Kafka on the Shore is about two strange people who are connected invisibly. So the first protagonist of the story is Kafka Tamura, a 15-year-old book-loving teenage boy who runs away from his home to escape the dark prophecy involving his family. As he searches for meaning and a place to belong, he slowly drifts into a surreal world that blurs the line between reality and imagination. And second protagonist of the story is Nakata, a very intelligent boy in the childhood but later lost his entire memory after a tragic incident. Nakata now is an old man who can talk to cats, who is on a bizarre mission involving lost memories. He lives in a world with raining fishes. As their path slowly moves towards each other, this novel explores the themes such as fate, identity, loneliness, and subconscious. As usual, Murakami blends the ordinary with desire so smoothly that nothing feels impossible. In my opinion, Kafka on the Shore is not a book that's going to explain everything that you have read. Rather, it is a book that is meant to be felt like a dream that you will keep thinking even after you wake up. And my rating for this book is 4 out of 5 for the same reason that I said before, that it does not explain everything. It ends with a lot of open-ended questions. So therefore I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. And if you ask me, is it a beginner-friendly novel? No, not a Murakami's beginner-friendly novel it is. And if you want to read Murakami, I would suggest you to read some Norwegian Wood or something. Don't go for this. This is not beginner-friendly. So the next book that I have read this year is something that I have started last year. So I'm not sure if I could count it into this year or last year, but whatever, I have completed it this month only, so it comes under January, and that is The Aadu Jeevitham by Benjamin, and it is also available in English by the name God Life, and it has been adapted into a movie which was I think it's on Netflix. So, Aadu Jeevitham tells about the heroic true life story of Najib, a Malayali man who travels from Kerala to Gulf hoping for a better future. Instead, he is trapped in a desert and forced to lead a life of slavery as a goatherd and completely cut off from any human contact. Days blur into months as Najib struggles to survive the extreme hunger, isolation, cruelty, and a sense of himself and language. His only companions were the gods that he tends, and over time, he slowly begins to behave like a god. The novel powerfully captures the psychological and the physical toll of captivity while also highlighting the migrant dream and how brutally it can collapse. This is a raw, heartbreaking, and unforgettable story about endurance, hope, and how a human survived in the most unhumane condition. Aadu is basically one of the most celebrated works of Benjamin. It's not a work, it's rather a true story, and it is a novel that is loved by the people of Kerala, and they have not just because of that. I absolutely love the way he written, and I'm absolutely touched by the story as well. So therefore I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. The next book that I have read this year is Samsara by Saksham Garg, and honestly, I didn't like this book much. And the central character of Samsara is Aman. He is a teenage boy who is sad, who is despair, who is bullied by the society, by his friends, by everyone. And Samsara is about a group of strangers who are drawn to a certain world called Samsara, who has to, where it happens a lot of unexplained events that is linked with reincarnation, karma, and a cycle between life and death. As secrets unfold, the characters in this particular novel realizes that their current life is linked with their past life as a way of karma resurfacing again. So moving between a modern world and a mythological timeline, this book explores big questions like big themes such as destiny, fate, karma, and a person can truly escape from who once they were. With suspense, spiritual themes, and emotional twists, Samsara tells us that every action leaves a mark. Every soul has a story that doesn't end with a one lifetime. I'm really considerate when it comes to rating works. I have said this many times that I'm not good at when it comes to rating works, but I'm so sad to give this book 2.5. Yeah, I've given it only 2.5 out of 5 because I didn't like it. I felt so sad after reading it. Like I regret reading it. I wish I haven't. And also it took me like 2 years to complete this entire novel. I mean, I have read for like 70 pages in 2024, then a bit in 2025, and this year I started from page 1 because it was so uh I'm not talking about the writing style, I'm just talking about the story. I didn't like it. Maybe with the second part a lot of things in this book make sense, maybe, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I am not a fan of this book. I'm sorry, fam. The sixth book that I have read this year is a short story collection written by Niharika by the name Izhukondu Matram Pranayam Paranjal, and this is a signed copy from the author. Yeah, and one of my plans for this year is to read more Malayalam books, which I'm actually reading. And this is a short story collection, as I said before, and this is not a love story. As you know that I'm not a fan of romance, so obviously it's not a love story, but it's a story that is filled with love. That is actually it. It's not just about a relationship. It's more about relationship between friends, family, etc. I mean, love, just love, not in a romantic way, but more in a spiritual way. And I absolutely loved it, and I would recommend this to everyone. And my rating is 5 out of 5. My seventh book of this year is also a Malayalam novel, a short story collection written by Suraj Jalda Sandosh by the name Veden. Veden means hunter. So this is a short story collection that explores themes such as hunger, fear, vanity, and lust. And I absolutely loved many stories, and I have posted a lot of quotes from these stories on my Instagram, which people absolutely loved. And this is also another story that I would recommend to everyone, and my rating is again 5 out of 5. About the eighth book of this particular month, I just want to talk about a backstory. So the eighth book that I have just read, that is a part of the Jack Reacher thriller series written by Lee Child, and the book that I bought was the last book of that series, and I genuinely didn't know. I actually bought it from the Delhi Sunday book market. I went there, I just read the blurb, and I actually loved the plot, so I bought it. And after I came here only, I realized that this was the last book of that particular series. But thankfully, it was not a sequel, it was a prequel. Yeah, like it's not a part of that particular series, even though Lee Child have written this book it is the last book of that series. It's not a sequel, it's a prequel. Thankfully, I am happy that I understood it, but still there are a lot of references in this book that were talking about that particular series which I couldn't catch, but that didn't affect much. So the book that I'm talking about is The Affair by Lee Child, and this is quoted as the book that made Jack Reacher who he is. That is what Mirror says, and I also agree, but I also disagree because I don't know about this Jack Reacher much. And the first novel of this particular series is Killing the Floor. I mean, Killing Floor. That is the first book, and these are all the books in the Jack Reacher series, and I have not read any of them, but I picked the last book of this particular series. Dump me. So here in this book, Jack Reacher is sent as an undercover to a small town in Mississippi to investigate a murder of a woman near a military base, and Jack Reacher is a Nami man. What starts as a small local murder turns out to be something that is bigger and darker, that involves corruption, power, and that revolves with a lot of secrets that the army wants to bury. And the Reacher teams up with a woman police officer who's showcased as clever but still dumb, and he teams up with her and unfolds the mystery, and slowly he comes to realize that almost everyone is lying and someone is willing to kill to keep the truth hidden. Okay, after I read this book, I have read reviews of this book at various sites, and many people have said that this book shows exactly why Reacher have left the army and left a lone life. Since I have not read the dress books, I don't know about that. I think it is, and my rating for this book is 4 out of 5. And why I'm giving it 4 out of 5 is kind of sad because I didn't like the climax, and for some unknown reason, 2026 was a nice year. I mean, the January of 2026 was a nice year. I read a lot of books, but still, the climax of each and every single book made me sad for some unknown reasons again. I didn't like the climax here. I expected a big climax. I mean, I expected a bigger twist, but I didn't get a better. It could have been better. That's what I'm saying. It could have been better, but still it's fine. Therefore I'm rating it a 4 out of 5. The ninth book of this month is one of my personal favorite. As I have said in my plans before that I want to read more books by Indian authors, specifically Indian women authors, and I have said the name of Arundhati Roy, and I have read The Mother Mary Comes to Me by Arundhati Roy, and I absolutely loved it. So Mother Mary Comes to Me is a deeply personal and a reflective memoir where Arundhati Roy looks back to her childhood, her complicated relationship with her mother, and the emotional contradictions that shaped her life. So, this book moves from her memories of growing up in Kerala and witnessing her mother's strength, anger, compassion, and the fierce independence while grappling through unresolved and complicated life, while also grappling with distance and unresolved love. Arundhati Roy weaves her personal moments with broader ideas such as love, feminism, faith, etc., and also how it means to forgive without forgetting. Rather than offering a neat resolution, this book sits with discomfort and honesty, showcasing how relationship, especially a mother-daughter relationship, how nurturing and painful it can be at the same time. It is intimate, raw, and deeply personal, showcasing that how some bonds are never loosened, no matter how much time it passes. And my rating for this book is 5 out of 5. So the 10th book of this month is The Thursday Murder Club, written by Richard Osman, and this is again a thriller which I absolutely loved, but not that much, but still I loved it. So Thursday Murder Club is about four funny retired people living in an English retirement village who meet every Thursday to discuss, to solve about the unresolved murders. Things get very real when an actual murder happens at their doorstep, and surprising to the local police, they decide to investigate by themselves. Using their life experience, clever reasoning, and plenty of tea, they uncover the hidden secrets that is hid beneath the village's surface. Each member brings something unique to the table, from a sharp intuition to an unexpected courage, showing that age is an advantage here. Witty, cozy, and full of twists, Thursday Murder Club is a charming murder mystery that balances humor and suspense in the most delighted way. And my rating is 5 out of 5. The last and the 11th book of this month is Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. I absolutely loved it, and I bought this book from the Delhi book market from the recommendation of Anjali. I absolutely loved it. If you know me, you know that I'm a huge fan of her. She recommended this, so obviously I have to buy it, and that's how I bought it, and I loved it. Who Moved My Cheese is a simple short story about change and how people deal with it. It's that simple. The story has four characters: two mice, Sniff and Scurry, the next two little people, Hem and Ho. And these four people lives in a maze searching for cheese, which represents success, happiness, comfort, etc. When the cheese suddenly disappears, each characters respond differently. While the mice quickly adapt to the change and move on, Hem resists the change, and Ho slowly realizes that holding on will make matter worse. Through this easy to follow book, the author tries to tell us that change is inevitable. The quicker you adapt, the better you will be. It's practical, relatable, and tells about uncertainty and growth. And my rating is obviously 5 out of 5. My review of all these 11 books helped you, and if you have read any of this, do comment. If you haven't, go read it from my review, and see you in the next video. Till then, bye.